Good morning, everybody. I'll give you guys some time to get in, get through the ads, because we know how that goes. And good morning to you, Renaissance Grandma. I see you there. You'll be in the bushes. I'm going to be dropping some seeds later on because I need to get that done. It's been unseasonably warm, so that's good. Let me get my cardigan. Give me 1 second to be right back. 1 second. Okay, I'm here. So, how everybody doing today? Good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It is a nice sunny day over here, and I may give a tour of the garden today. Let me just charge my phone a bit more because it's at 40%. So let me get some more charge. Morning, TLC. Blessings to you. I'm going to charge my phone a bit. I'm on my laptop now, and then I will connect my phone to the live and then go outside and show you how the garden looks. Nothing's planted yet, but I did do some cleanup. There's some mess that needs to be addressed, but sometimes you got to get messier before it gets cleaned up. And as you all know, I got the girls, the flock, the hen, the girl, the cluck clucks, the urban chicks. Well, not chicks, but they're adults. But all the stuff that was in that shed is kind of just thrown all over the place. I got to sort through stuff, get hooks set up to have things on the wall organized neatly, and throw out stuff that's just you forgot that you had it, you haven't used it, donate it, just get rid of it. Some broken tools, some tools that need sharpening. You know how that goes. Sometimes you just have things and you just keep pushing new things in front of it, and then you forget that you had those old things. So I'm going to get that cleaned up. But you guys can see it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because and then as per usual, there's a lot of things that are damaged. Since I moved here, that backyard, the structure part need to be redone, but that's a huge expense. So I'm kind of waiting to get the framing of those the tiers going up to get those redone because the wood is rotting, it's falling apart. And to buy wood is when I moved here was not cheap, and now it's even worse. So we'll see how that goes. No tea today. I'm doing my vitamin C water for now. I'll do my tea later. I was up this morning. This morning I was woken up at about 3:55 a.m. by the raccoon, obese Denise. I don't even know if it's a male or female because most of the females in the area are nesting. They're reproducing. So I'm not sure what she or he is, but I'll say she. And it sounded like a pig grunting, like it was ridiculous. I recorded it, but you couldn't really hear. It sounded loud in person, but the phone didn't pick it up. I have two predator eyes that flash a red light, so I think that kind of worked and deterred her. Um, and I had a radio playing. The last 2 nights I have a radio playing, and it's supposed to deter predators from coming in. I don't think it was loud enough last night, so I'll turn it up and put it on like a talk show so that they'll hear some voices and figure out what the best option is for um, keeping her away. But she didn't linger. She was on the roof of the shed. I didn't hear any noises of concern, so I guess she doesn't even know that there's raccoons there. So that part's good so far, but it's still concerning because she comes around so frequently. Also, what else happened this week? Let me see here. What TLC saying. I'm still in clearing mode here to have to find a landscaper to cut the grass and take down 2 trees. That too. I'm having a hard time. I'm gonna have to text the roofer again because he was supposed to have come, the last person I got, to look at it. He hasn't come yet. That roof needs to be changed because the plywood, you can see some parts are getting water damage and rotting. So the plywood needs to be changed and it needs to be shingled. Good morning to you, Miss OG, Miss Shirley OG. Hope your legs are feeling better. That was terrible, that update. Hope it's not blood clots. That's not going to be good. So keep Miss Shirley in her prayers because she's having some challenges right now. Good morning to you, RX Nails. So I want to give you a tour, and a little later, let me just get my phone charging. It's at 45%. It doesn't take long to charge with the proper charger. So let me get that going. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm cleaning up. Some things look messy before they look better. That's how it goes. But I'm trying to make, and I have to paint some stuff. So this year, the side of my house, it was scraped off during the pandemic, and it's still flaking. So I guess the paint, I don't know. We're gonna have to flake it all again and scrape it off and get that painted with a sprayer, because it just kind of makes the place look a little, unkept. So I'm working on that. And where you'll see my deck, I'll show you. It's just covered with clutter. I just covered it with clutter because the raccoon was gonna move in under the deck. So I put some skids there. I put like just boxes. It's a hot mess. Now that it's warmer, we're gonna move the firewood further back, cover the whole area with skids neatly, evenly laid on a wall, and paint the skids to match the deck. Then it won't look like a big mess. It will look neat and tidy. And then that way I can move the skids, access the gas meter. I can access the firewood. I can even, put some pots under there during the wintertime, flower pots, and grow bags under there so that it's not directly in the snow and stuff, because some of my grow bags have some holes in it. I don't know if the bugs ate a hole through it or what, but there's some holes in the grow bag. So the only solution I can think of is getting some iron-on patches from the sewing store and iron on a patch, because tape is not going to stick to it. But I'll show you that after. Also, I'm growing wheatgrass. I fed it to the girls today and yesterday. Yesterday was funny. So I let them out. I didn't put their food in there. I put the grass, and they're like, "Where's the food? What is this?" Let them for an hour. They kind of picked around. They didn't like it. I gave them their food, and then they kind of went back to the grass. So today I gave them their actual food, gave them a whole bunch of the grass, and now they're eating it, which is good for me because it means less chicken feed, and it also means they're getting more nutrition, living enzymes, sprouted grains. They're getting all that, which means in turn better quality eggs. I'm getting 2 eggs for sure a day. The third one is laying when she feels like it. I don't know who the third one is, and I have a total of 6. So I'm supposed to be getting 6 per day. So some of them have not started yet. And then one of them was sitting in the nesting box a little too long, and she was sitting on the fake egg. Like, why are you getting comfortable? I think she's getting into a nesting mode. I said, listen here, you just moved in here last week. Get to laying the eggs. No time for no broody hen. Or she want to hatch eggs. No. She's sitting there chilling. I open the door, look at her. I close it back. I came back, look at her. Oh, you're propped up on the pillow, Miss Shirley? Okay, good. I hope it wasn't because were you on your feet at the soil? Maybe it was at that, or just something that could have happened anyways. I don't know. I'm curious. So they're getting the grass, the wheatgrass. The outdoor run area was purchased. It was put together very quickly, but one piece is missing, and that is needed to frame the door. I emailed the company. They haven't sent it. They're going to send the part. That was from Tuesday. It's now Saturday. They haven't sent the part yet. So I will be emailing them again today to ask them for some kind of compensation. I want some discount off of what I paid, because now I'm going to be delayed maybe up to 2 weeks before I get that part to finish the coop, the outdoor run, the added-on run on the lawn, and get that fenced on, the mesh put on and the roof and all that stuff put on. That's just delaying me by several weeks. And it's getting warmer. This week was very warm. I had to put a fan in there for them. So, and the smell is kind of getting a little So I realize now that the sand is probably not going to work in there the way I want it to work. And I'm going to have to turn it over. I'm going to have to shovel up the top layer and mix it with some unclumping. My internet just spooled a second there. I saw it spool. Let me turn the camera off and see if that's it. Okay. Something cut off there. So the sand's not going to work. So if you guys are using sand, it works, but because my setup is very confined and it's hard to get into the places and get access to certain spots, it's getting difficult and things are building up. So the front part, the coop I cleaned last night where they nest and where they lay their eggs, I cleaned that thoroughly last night while I was watching Frugal Friday. So that doesn't smell. This morning after I got up about 6 o'clock, because these girls get me up early now, outside, I cleaned the front part where they eat and drink, took out the cardboard, and that also, I line it with cardboard, but man, that held the odor. So I'll clean that all out, put that in the compost bin. That part smells fine, but I'm still smelling something. So that means the sand is not doing what it's supposed to do. So I'll be addressing that ASAP because I don't want it to be June, July and hot. And then my neighbors are going to say like, that's unbearable. I don't want my neighbors to say anything about any kind of odor. So that's what I'll be doing. And I'm also going to get a fan, some kind of proper fan in there to get the air circulating. I don't like what's happening in there. And some other people I watch, they get a fan for their girls. Oh, it happened before the trip. Almost didn't make it. More tests on Monday. Okay. Hopefully it all pans out well. Okay, I'm just looking at my phone. So I have 50%. I could probably go and do a tour now. And then I can do come back and put it back on the charger. But what are you guys doing? I find so the products that I won't be using going forward, I won't be using the sand the same way that I was. I'm going to be making some adjustments. Now, I did mix the sand with diatomaceous earth. I did mix it with the barn dry stuff, and that stuff does help. But the sand itself is getting clumpy. It's not staying dry. It can't really get air because it's not located in an area that the air can flow. And that's all contributing to what the experience that I'm having. So I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it doesn't work in my particular confines. There's no airflow. So it's just getting moist and damp. So I'm going to shovel up the top layer and go and put some cat litter and then get the fork, the garden fork thing, and mix it all together and kind of get it more aerated and looser. And then put some more diatomaceous earth in there because that has helped with the odor. It helped with their dust bathing. So that is working. So far, I'm really enjoying the chicken. The girls, they're entertaining. They're feisty. Their personalities is ridiculous. I'm also feeling more, what's the word? I guess like a sense of accomplishment because like you're kind of moving forward with your goals and you feel like more connected with nature and connected with gardening because you're taking care of something, not like a pet, well, kind of a pet like, but not really. You're taking care of an animal and you're living in a symbiotic relationship. And I'm like, wow, why didn't I do this before? But you live and you learn. So I'm enjoying having them. They're not a lot of work. It's just making sure you find the right balance so that you can keep the place clean. You don't want flies. You don't want bugs kind of getting in there. You don't want them to get ticks and mites and all kind of stuff. So it's very important, but it's not a lot of work if you're using the right products. It hasn't been that long, but it's not a lot of work. But you need to have access to all the areas. And one part of the coop, I had to build a door for it. Couldn't get into that area. I'm using sand I'll probably have to show you guys, but what I did was I bought a small coop. The coop was assembled inside of a shed so that they had a double layer of protection because the raccoon comes by very often, and cats and dogs. So I put the coop in a building, so it's in a shed. So I put sand in there, thinking that would be easier than having to change out the wood shavings. But maybe the wood shavings would have just been better, having a whole bunch of wood shavings and then emptying it all out and then putting more shavings. So I saw other people saying, yeah, sand is good. Use a loose grain, rough sand. It keeps their feet clean and all the positive stuff. But the problem also is, I mentioned before, I'll say it again. I put down the play sand first, and then I switched to the general use general use. I forgot to put the mic on. Hope you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, I think you can hear me. I use a general use all-purpose sand, which is grittier and better. But the play sand was already kind of damp, so I think that kind of messed up the whole thing because there's damp sand underneath, and yeah, so that's also part of the problem. It's not the sand per se; it's the type of sand that you use, as well as you have to kind of take a fork and kind of mix it up in the evening when they go to bed. So I'm gonna just shovel off. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might just shovel all of it out and put it on tarp outside and let it air out and let it. Yeah, okay, of the floor. You buy a giant box of baking soda and sprinkle over the coop floor until you find. Yeah, like I think I'm just gonna. I'll scrape off the top. Maybe I'll put baking soda and just mix it kind of all in there, and then mix some the the cheap cat litter, the one that doesn't clump. It's like gravel, and mix some of that in there and kind of get it all incorporated. I think sand alone may not have been. It's not the worst idea, but again, they're in a building on a concrete slab. It's a bit different. Good morning to you, cruising for fun. Let me put my mic on. I forgot to put my mic on. Give me 1 second because I feel like I'm talking loud. 1 second. Testing, testing. Okay, there we go. Wood. I didn't want wood chips. No, I didn't want. Well, I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna use wood chips. Well, I have wood chips. I have wood shavings, the pine shavings, which I use in the coop, like the nesting boxes and stuff like that. Um, hold on. Someone send me a message. Right. Always when you go live, send you messages. Hold on. And that one, they're offering me stuff from the garden, so I'm gonna answer it now. Yes, yes. Okay. So I use the pine shavings and they work. I just didn't think that did I miss Fifi? Oh, you said okay, Fifi. Yes, but she uses wood chips. Well, her coop is bigger and she can actually get into the coop like and physically stand up. And I know she uses leaves and stuff, but I didn't want to have to use something that I had to go in and change when I can't even get in there. It's like literally like going into a child's playhouse. Mine's not a big coop. It's a smaller coop that was made for maybe 3 birds. So that's also part of my problem because I went and got extra, got hype, and got 6. So my issue is compounded because I have too many of them, and it's a small confined space. But I am gonna get a big box of baking soda. I'm gonna get a big old bag of diatomaceous earth because that's good as well for killing bugs and mites and stuff. So I'm gonna go back to the feed store and get the big 50-pound bag because I'm gonna be having to use it heavily. But for now, I'll get the baking soda. I'm gonna use it heavy. Okay, no, I put the mic on, Miss Shirley. Thank you. I put it on now. Since I said, and the wood chips I am gonna use for the outdoor added on run. So I will show you guys that shortly. I'm gonna connect my phone to the live, and then I'll go outside with my phone. 1 second here. I'm gonna paste the link to myself in the chat, and I'll show you So, you live and you learn, but you have to just be able to and willing to pivot and make some adjustments. And unfortunately, I didn't order what I could have managed. I went over and above, and having to make a lot more adjustments than I would have. If I had only 3, this wouldn't have been such a problem. There wouldn't have been so much, going to the bathroom, so much stuff happening. But because I have 6 of them, this is part of the problem. So let me find my live on my phone, and then I'm going to do, I'll show you guys the tour. Because you haven't seen, well, since winter started. And I'm going to show you the top of the garden. I have a video coming with that, but I didn't edit it yet, to show you the plants that stayed out all winter long that were covered with fleece at one point. How they look now. So I'm going to go on mute because I'm going to get feedback when I log in a second. Hold on. So I'm going to mute this phone. I'm going to enter into the, hold on, I'm going to enter. Okay. Okay, I'm going to bring myself into the stream. And I'm going to try to make the other one bigger. Okay, good morning. Oops, I'm getting feedback. Let me get out of the house because I can't have both of them on. And my legs might be ashy, so don't look at those. I just had a shower, but I didn't put it in function. Okay, so I'm way outside. And I'm going to turn the camera the right way so you guys can see. Okay. And hold on, I don't think, give me a second, I have to rotate the camera. Okay, there it is. Oops, I had the comments on the screen. Oops. Okay. So good morning to anybody I missed. Hey, Sums. Okay. So this is, I put the, so this is the predator eye. It shines a red eye at night, flashes a red eye to look like a predator. These are some old stones I got from someone who was getting rid of their stones. I'm going to put them as kind of a walkway and use them for some things. These are the raspberry bushes that I got from somebody that was moving. So that has to be planted somewhere. And that's a bit of the mess that I'll show you, kind of stuff that's over there. And I took out all the grow bags and took the pots out to get them ready to go. All of my grow bags are not filled with soil anymore, so I don't know where the soil goes to, disappears. I'm going to top them all up with some manure. And I have these lights shining to see if they're going to work. If they don't work, then I'm just going to get some new ones. And that was the compost that might be used for plants this year. That was the kale bed last year. And this is the 5-species pear tree that's actually too close to the fence. I think I forgot not to move that. It's too close to the fence, but you can see even in the last few days, it's like the buds are really coming out. So the tree is very healthy, looking good. So I'm going to move that. It's too close to the fence. That this stem is in the fence. So I'll do that after. And these are all the pots. So that's just, those are not going to stay there. That's just there for now because catching rainwater, getting ready, and I put the fabric down there as well, and some of the pots, getting those ready. I have to plant more flowers this year so I could have more pollinators. And then this bookcase that I took a few years ago is falling apart, literally falling apart. And all the garlic this year actually made it, most of it. So it was popping out because of the winters, so I had to push them back down. But yeah, this bed is on its last leg. I was going to throw it out now, but because the garlic, I don't know if I want to transplant the garlic. There's quite a few. So I might just leave it here and then throw it out at the end of the season. And then let me show you. I think it's been working, Psalms, but the raccoon came by last night. So these are some empty, clean buckets. This is a skid that I had all the pots on during the wintertime so that they wouldn't get damaged in the snow. And now somebody gave me a radio yesterday, so I'm going to be playing like news radio at night, and that might deter the predators. This is just a metal bin with some of the girls' supplies. And so I had to put a skid here. I have some firewood here, so I need to push it back so that I can evenly put the skids all along. And I just, shoved all this stuff here to block any animal from moving in. So that will be cleaned up and tidied up. All these stuff will be used for something and put away or gotten rid of. And then that was just a wall to kind of block the raccoon, which didn't work. And she kept knocking it down. And then the reason why I put my pots away is because snow makes them expand, and then you can, the pot just cracks. So because it was in the snow and the water and the ice expanded the soil, a lot of your pots can get ruined. So don't do what I did. Now this is going to be the outdoor area. It will be secured to the ground better, but right now we're waiting for that missing piece to do the door. And that will be that. So that is, and this was just only down here, the cardboard, because when you're walking back and forth on the lawn in the spring, it gets muddy. So that was just to get rid of the mud. And then all that's just mud. So I'm going to have to put down some grass seed and all of that, like seed all of that to make it more dense because it was very muddy. And then just, sweeping up the stuff. This plant, I think it's dead. This was Morning Glory, but yeah. And then just some projects that are going on. Let me see what I'm missing in the chat because on the phone it's not so hard. But yeah, it seems to work. That predator thing seems to work. Now those are the girls. I'll show you them quickly, but I'm not going to go too long. So this is the shed, which has to be revamped. We're going to change this all around. That was just to keep the raccoon out for the winter in terms of them getting used to being in here. The screen door we put some hardwire mesh on here, and the screen door is left open most times so they can get air. And then there's the girls and some wheatgrass this one. So you can see that they throw all over the place. And every morning I got to clean water. They're very noisy. But yeah, as soon as I come in the door, it stinks. So, and I clean so much section. So it's that back section here. I have to look over the door to get to back here. I had to add this piece to give them more room. That's what I'm struggling with. Under here, didn't have a door. I was supposed to clear there, so you have to make your own door. And there's still a lot of grass down there, so I guess they don't get today. They were eating it. These girls are really, really don't listen. All the grass is all in the corner where no one can eat it. And then they have their feet in the feed bowl. Just get your behind. Goodness. Oh, I need in the app. Yeah, there's 6 and they like to be close together, so that's there. You guys get a sneak peek for those who came today. And that's in there. In here does not smell. It does not have any odor. I clean this every morning. That was tidied up this morning. I got 1 egg this morning. I did not get anything else. The other one was taking their sweet time. And those are the fake eggs, if you can see them. There's one there. But yeah, in there does not smell. So the sand thing is just not working. So yep, I'm gonna get the baking soda, the big jump box. I'll probably cut there for a second. Hopefully I'm back. Those in the little shed, but they're not noisy. But you have to give them the space that they need, and you have to give them hygienic living conditions. I don't really give them nasty conditions. Okay, girls, you need to lay some eggs. I'm waiting for some eggs. I got one today. 5 more to go. Let's go. Eggs. Eggs. Okay, so let me get out of there. Yeah, they're healthy. They're looking good. They bathe. They keep themselves clean. So just want to maintain that. All of my tulips, like see any of my tulips coming up. I see some iris coming up there. I don't know where my tulips are. I think they're in either the squirrel or what, I don't know. But I see a lot of potato bugs. That's a stone crop there. And those are daylilies along here. The bushes, I can't remember. Looks like a lavender. All of those up top are alliums popping up. I have these 2 pots that were lovely last year with tulips and daffodils. Nothing's come up, just weeds. And that daylily has to be planted. That's been out. Bought for a year and haven't been planted yet. Same thing over here. I don't see all right there. Tulips. I think my Wi-Fi is cutting out. I don't know why. It's supposed to be strong. And the lavender there didn't make it, but the lavender there, we trimmed that. That looks good. Again, all my irises, my daylilies are all popping up. Now the peach tree is dead. And I don't know what happened to the soil, but it popped right out the big pot. I planted more chives all along here. And I dropped a lot more seeds for scallions all along here. I can't tell if it popped up or if those are weeds, so I'll let you know. But this whole section was full of scallions, and I don't see any of them. So there's some things popping up here. I dropped a whole bunch of seeds, but somebody came and pruned and stood here, and I said that's where I dropped my seeds because they were doing things I didn't ask them to do. They're doing other things and trampling on my seed bed. That's a lovely flower there. It's very invasive, but it spreads like wildfire. And my thyme patch, so sticks that they prune and then clean up. My thyme patch is very nice. So I think I'm going to cut that back heavily this year because it's just getting a little bit out of hand. I'm going to cut it back heavily this year. And my sage didn't make it. I had transplanted into this pot, so I think it's better in the ground, and maybe it's better in a bigger pot. But I'm going to drop some more seeds here for the sage. That's where it was, and get some more herbs going on. And then that will be my tomato bed. And hopefully this year I can change this lattice because it's really a hot mess. Let me see what's happening in the chat. The squirrels would dig up my tulip bulbs and my neighbors, since they put immature plants, squirrels bite the flowers off. These squirrels are disgusting. Not yet. Miss Shirley, no, my chickens do not go outside yet. Until I finish building this outdoor area, it will be all meshed all around, even on the roof. And then they're going to have a tunnel to go from the building into this area. It's 9 feet by, I think, 6 feet by 6 feet high-ish with the peak. I cannot let them outside unattended at all. Cats will hurt them. Dogs will hurt them. The raccoon will start to realize, oh, there's food here. And will come around during the day. I think my internet again chipped out. So I'm going to go, hey, Miss D's Harleywood. I'm going to go on top of the hill to show you guys the brassicas that survived all winter. Hopefully I don't cut out, but I'll check and see if I'm spooling. So just, if I cut out, I'll come back down, okay? But yeah, the girls don't go outside, not until this outdoor part is built. And the raccoon came back last night, so that lets me know I made the right decision. You have to be supervising them. And also, I have 3 birds of prey. There's hawks that fly around here, and that's the last thing I need. Okay, so I think it's still connected. This is a strawberry bed. Almost everything survived. I'm gonna go pay for a new raised bed, like a metal one, and put it right here and put the strawberries in an actual bed and use these bags for something else. Because I think the strawberries will survive better in an actual container. This bed has not been used. I filled it with dirt this year, this a couple of days ago, but you can see the dirt is way down. So I'm gonna have to either order those big bags of dirt or something because it's hardly made a dent. And this one, these are the plants that survived all winter. Well, 3 kohlrabi, Brussels sprouts, and a cabbage. As you can see, it might go to seed, but the Brussels sprouts do have some Brussels. Look how tiny they are. That's why Brussels sprouts are not really worth it because you don't really get Brussels. And then as you can also see, the dirt in this bed went down significantly. So I'm going to have to, well, I want to top it off so that I want the beds as full as possible. These 3 also, cauliflower. Oh my goodness, there's actually cauliflower in there. You guys see, that's the cauliflower head. But I think it's full of bugs. Something's in there. I don't have to look at that. And that's early Jersey cabbage, and that must be another cabbage. The size of them, but they fell off, and the red one is kohlrabi. Okay, so sunk down significantly. I'm gonna have to rebuild. This is a pot of chives that is doing fine. This was an old dresser that I used to grow in. It's falling apart. I'm going to throw it out this year, and I'm going to invest in a couple of beds. I saw them on sale at this particular store. Let me fill my text. So don't make it. And these are all going to be cut up and put to compost these stuff. Hopefully I'm still connected. Let me just check the chat. Oh, good morning, Jean. I see you there. I'm just doing a quick tour since it's warm out. Okay, so I'm still connected to the internet. I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to go back inside. This bed here is an old dryer drum. It's been here for a couple of years. I had leaves in there for the last year breaking down. I put some more cuttings in there, and now I'm going to and I think I could put another bed even right there. I'm gonna expand the garden, but I'm not gonna plant it out this year. But I am gonna expand. And then the blueberry bushes are budding a lot this year. So I had 2 blueberries last year, only 2. So I'm going to get a lot more this year. But as you can see, the soil sunk all the way down, so I might have to build it back up. And it looks like the actual blueberry root ball is distinctly separate from the soil. So I might actually dig it up, refill it with the whole drum with soil, and replant it back in there and give it some feed. This tree did not make it, and it was all filled with soil and something, I don't know what happened, but I can literally just pop the whole thing out. So this is going back to Costco. The pot didn't even break down. Nothing broke down. I don't see any root system. Yeah. So this is going back. This is going back to Costco. And then this is the lilac bush. You can see it's lilacking, and it actually smells good already. It has a nice smell already. And then this container keeps falling apart. So I'm going to dig this up. I'm going to dig out all the dirt, and I'm going to get a couple of beds for right here. So again, I'm going to build the infrastructure. The lawn needs cutting. All the edging needs to be edged because it's just building up. So I'm going to go around and do that this week. Get all the the grass cut down, and then I'm gonna put a lot of grass seed because there's a lot of just crabgrass, there's weeds, clover, and some of these weeds are actually herbs. But yeah, I'm gonna clean all this up and get the lawn looking a little decent. But there's gonna be a couple of more beds right here and right here, and then along the fence line. So this will be the only part here that I have to actually mow for now. So I'm going to go back down. So that's the, and then I have these bushes here. So I need to get this painted and get the structure kind of, fixed up. Because if you don't do it, it's going to start keep breaking down. And then down here, there won't be much lawn left because this will be taken up with this, and this is going to be gone. The grass will be gone soon, and that will end up being just mulch, wood chips like Fifi does. It'll be all here because the grass is not going to survive. That will be gone in 5 minutes. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. And then we're going to be making some changes here, and we're going to have a tunnel here so they can go in and out in the day as they please. And I don't have to be here to watch them. I don't have to worry about them getting hurt with anything. And why this big old fly over here? Let me just check it about one more time, make sure they're okay. Why do you keep standing in the food dish? Why is your foot in the food dish? Your dirty foot. Who's gonna lay some eggs? Where's the eggs? You guys are just making a colossal mess. I just cleaned the place. Get your foot out the dish. Get your foot out the dish. Get your dirty foot. Now you can see the grass over there. Like, who's gonna eat that after they trample it down? But you better eat that grass. And then yeah, I have a hanging 6-pounder food dish, which you actually do need. They don't eat a lot of it though. I only put like about a pound of food in there, to be honest. I don't like the food being left over, and then I check them out periodically, and then they're fine. So that girls are good. Again, they're in the food dish. Again. Okay, so those are the girls, the ladies. Okay, let me see what I missed in the chat. Okay. If I was cutting in and out, I remember I said if I go too far, the internet might cut out, but I'll keep going. And then if you have any questions now that I'm back down the hill, you can ask them now. Hopefully you saw me showing you stuff. And then this is an apple tree. Someone gave me an apple tree. Yes, last year. And it's alive. And I can see that it has a bud on the top. So that's going to grow to be an apple. But it rained a lot before, but I haven't got any rain this week or 2 weeks. And the stuff is getting very dry. So I'm going to have to get the hose connected. I ordered a filter for the hose. So that came last night from Amazon. So I'm going to be putting a filter on the main tap. Let me let the soil, it's been covered. Let me let it breathe because it may be getting mold. But yeah, and these rain barrels are going to be set up this year so I can catch some more rainwater. And that's why I got this piece. Somebody gave me a piece of eaves trough, because to get eaves trough, you have to buy the whole length of it. And it's not cheap. And I don't need a whole length. So that's going to use on one of the sheds to catch rainwater. And then I can rely less on the city water. So this is the faucet here. So I'm going to attach a filter to it and then the hose, and then that way you don't have to worry about the chlorine in the water. So let me see what's going on in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to go inside. I'm going to turn off this camera for a minute. You're going to hear me silent for a minute. And then I'll go back to the laptop, and then I'll catch up to whoever came in while I was doing the little tour. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay. So if I cut out there, sorry guys. Sometimes when you're out there, I'm allowed to go up to the top of the hill with no disconnection. That's what I paid for with the Wi-Fi, but who knows what you get sometimes. So let me catch up with who I missed. Hey, good morning to you, Nikki, 93 Stan. Good morning to you. Did I miss anybody else? Okay, so hopefully you guys saw something. You can let me know if you missed anything, um, or what you didn't see, or where I cut out. If you have any questions, you can ask me that now. But that's basically what's happening. I haven't done any direct sowing yet outside. Today I'm gonna drop some flower seeds. I'm gonna drop some carrots, beans, and radishes. I have 2 radishes indoors, but nothing's really happening with that yet. Nothing's happening with that yet. So we'll have to figure that out a little later because it's not working the way that I thought it would work. Also, let me close this. So yeah, I saw my blueberries blossoming, the apple tree's doing well. Hey, good morning, can't stop walking, love mowing. Um, the pear tree's looking good. The peach tree, literally, I don't have to even dig it up out the bucket. It just literally like lifted itself out on its own. Like take me out of here. So that's gonna be returned, that peach tree, to Costco. It didn't even last one season. It didn't give me a leaf. Nothing was on it. So it was maybe something was wrong with it from the beginning, and that was about $80 for that tree. So I'm gonna see if they have their trees out yet. I hope they have their trees there now, so I can just return it and then get a new tree. I really wanted a peach tree. So that's really that for the garden. The girls are doing well. They're healthy. I'm staying on top of the cleaning because as I said to you, you can, if you want to be self-sufficient, that's great. That's a admirable goal. But you don't want to be a problem for your neighbors, because then there'll be a problem for you. So odor is an issue for most normal people. They don't want to smell, certain odors, especially in a residential urban area. So don't wait for it to become a problem. So I'm making sure I'm on top of stuff. So you're saying Costco has apples and cherry trees now, but they're expensive. Well, if I paid $80 for a tree last year, if it's the same price, then they can give me a straight exchange, hopefully. But yeah, they're not cheap, because we have to remember that when you get a tree from these stores, that tree is already about what, 5 years old, 3 to 5 years old, give or take. Those of you who know more than me, but about 3 to 5 years. So you are gonna get fruit. Oh, thanks, Nikki. Yeah, they do look good. They're looking good. Um, you can get fruit like sooner than later versus starting from seed or getting of a cutting or a branch that still has to root and build up. Somebody else had a question earlier. I'm scrolling back in the chat. I think somebody was asking about something. I saw it when I was on the phone, but um so yeah, someone was talking earlier about them digging up her bulbs. I put some spikes around there, but also I don't know what happened. Maybe it's just dry. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I spent a good amount of money. Yeah, and then yeah, the girls do not go outside. No, there's too many predators. The red eye seems to be working, because the I haven't heard from the obese Denise in a while, but mind you, I put those things out this week when I got the girls. So since the 4th of April, 2 weeks now, maybe week and a half, a week. So I think it's working. She didn't linger. She didn't stay around too long, and I have a radio playing now to sound like somebody's outside, so that would deter them as well. I'm just trying to find some free stuff to to do. But yeah, I think something, okay, it was probably that. Okay, let me go back to the bottom of the chat now. I don't want a cherry tree. My dad has a cherry tree, and I don't eat cherries that often. And when I did eat the cherries were full of worms. And cherries are a fruit that's so small that it's not worth me cutting it into pieces to check for worms before I eat it. So I'm not really a fan of cherries. And the ones in the store don't have any worms, but what did they do to not get the worms? I don't know. My dad's not really on top of spraying the trees either. I don't think he's hardly sprayed the trees. I can probably count on one hand. And now the tree is so tall that we can't even get up there to spray it properly. So it's full of worms. So I'm not gonna make jam. I'm not gonna eat cherries. And I haven't really been. I don't love cherries. Like I like them when they're in season. They taste nice, but I don't love them. So cherry tree, apple tree. I could probably do with an apple tree, depending on the type of apple. Morning, Cheryl Faulkner. Good to see you. I I have we have a Granny Smith. No, not Granny Smith. That's a lie. Golden Delicious. We have a Golden Delicious tree. I do want a Granny Smith because I juice a lot of Granny Smith. So if I do see one, I'll pick one up. Walmart may have trees. Okay, I saw your video, Miss Shirley. I don't know. My Walmart has never looked that good. Walmart over here is notorious for not watering plants and not taking care of their garden section. So I will go on the road today to return that tree to Costco, and I will if not today, I'll go this evening because I don't want to go and line up around the block to return something. That's not a good use of my time. I think I'll drop seeds first and I'll go in the evening near to the closing and see if, it's a short line, return the tree and check out their garden center. I will check out Walmart and see if they have trees. I'm looking for a peach tree, a gold Granny Smith apple, and maybe like an ambrosia or a Royal Gala, like whatever can tolerate the cold here. The tree that somebody gave me, she doesn't even know what it's called. So I don't even know what I'm getting. All I know is a nice tree, sweet apples. I don't know what the tree is. And yeah, I'll have to wait and see, basically. And the fig trees are coming soon. The one that I didn't show you that was at the front. I'm gonna move it to the back. The Negroni Bordeaux, Negron Bordeaux fig. That one's doing well. A lot of new shoots. I'm gonna have to fertilize all the trees. I didn't do that as yet, so I'm gonna fertilize the trees to make sure that they have the food that they need. Because remember, when they're in containers, they can't go and seek out the food. You got to give it to them. And I'm going to give them some of the seaweed fertilizer and take it from there. But yeah, things are going well. I'm trying to get more. I'm OCD-ish, so I like to get my pots to be of one color. So I'm trying to get everything like either terracotta or black. I don't want all this mishmash of different color pots. I don't know. It just makes me like, ugh. I don't like the way it looks. So going forward, anything broken will be replaced with the same color terracotta or a black pot, so it has some kind of continuity. And those other beds, I'm going to probably pick up those other raised beds today because if I wait too long, other people will see them and then they're going to be sold out. So that's what happened the last time. So I think I'm going to go get that today, make that my priority. But what are you guys also doing for your spring prepping for your garden? Is there any products that you're going to use or not use this year? For me, I'm going to probably use heavily more compost in the garden beds or a triple mix garden soil. As you can see, all of the pots need refilling, filling up. All of the beds, I don't know where the dirt goes, but it seems to go somewhere. I have to be filled to the brim because if you don't do it to the brim, it's going to be way low, which is what happened to me with the two beds. It's way low. The other drum, same thing. So triple mix soil and compost. I'm not going to use any topsoil or anything like that. I'm not going to bother. Um, in terms of fertilizer, I personally have never used bone meal or blood meal. I didn't know what that was until, more recent years. I've been growing well without it, so I'm not really going to buy it. I do use an all-purpose all-purpose, or I used to use an all-purpose Miracle Grow, which has those things in it. Um, I may use it here and there depending on what I'm planting to see, like compare one plant to another. But this year it will be heavily the seaweed fertilizer. Yeah, something's wrong with the internet today because I'm in my house right near the router, so I don't know why I'm getting this. So if I'm cutting out, guys, I apologize. Something's going on today because I have a good signal. I don't know. It could be StreamYard as well. Sometimes StreamYard. So I'm going to be using the seaweed fertilizer. I'm using alfalfa here because I have it for the girls. So I'm going to be using some of that to make some water to give it to the girls to for the plants, and I give the pellets to the girls to eat. I will be using black pots hold more heat and dry out. I only noticed that with the grow bags that they dry out fast, fast, fast. Okay, so maybe I'll just stick with the terracotta color because that one looks a little nicer anyways, the terracotta color. But I don't know if you guys noticed on my tour, I have saucers under everything. I don't let it run off because that's how the soil also runs off. I also have those Dollar Tree mechanic black pans for oil changes. I put those under a lot of my pots to catch the runoff and also the rainwater. So what I usually do is I pour off the water into a main bucket and I use that to water back to the plants. That way I can definitely water less. I don't leave a lot of reserve in the pan, but enough so that they can, it can wick up on its own without having to run out every minute to water. Oh, I remember the question now. I think Sam asked about a filter for the hose. Yes, there's a filter you can buy for the hose. It's usually under Amazon, like if you look up RV water filter. So usually when people park their RV at different parks or wherever they're parking it, some people, you can't really maybe trust the water, or they're using the water for things like, and they don't want to use a tap of the city water for certain things. So it filters out the freon, not the freon, chlorine and something else. Let me look at my order on my phone. Hold on. I'll tell you. It came last night. It came in with 2 in the box and 2 adapters. It comes in different formats. If you already have the adapters, then you could probably buy a pack of 3 with no adapters. But I'll tell you right now because it might help somebody. I believe I saw it on another channel. I think it was Grow Family who showed it last year. And I put it in my wish list, and then I got one this year because I'm trying to catch more rainwater, which is good for your plants, but sometimes it's not always feasible, and it hasn't rained in over a week, and I need to water my pots, so I'm going to have to use the tap water. So it's called RV inline water filter, and mine came with 2 filters and 2 adapters, so I'll have enough to last for the entire summer. Also, let me read what it's about so I can tell you. I still gotta wait to really do anything outside. It's supposed to be snowing. Okay, no problem. Yeah, I had to wait too, and we might get frost and snow over here. Don't like it happened before in April, so I'm just getting things cleaned up so that I can move forward. And if I plant my carrots, they can handle the cold. So now what is the point of this item? Let me click on it so I can tell you what it does. Okay, so it says here, drinking and washing filter reduces lead, fluoride, chlorine, bad taste, and odor. And I guess people who have boats also use this kind of stuff so that when they hook up to the main, whatever they hook up to, they can clean out the water a bit more. So that's what I'm going to be using. That way I have less chlorine and all that stuff in the water, and I can water my plants a little less worrying about it. I'm keeping things as simple as possible. I never used blood or bone meal before in my garden. I didn't know it existed. I'm feeding my plants homemade. Yep, compost tea. I'm keeping it simple. But I am going to try the alfalfa. As I said, that's new to me. The seaweed is new to me. Last year, I didn't use it that heavily, but I'm definitely going to be using it heavily this year because my radishes did not bulb. My turnips didn't do nothing. It needed more food. Miss Shirley OG saying black cow and pottings. Yep, manure. And I'm like manure. I'm gonna be spending a lot of money on that. And I think it may be cheaper for me to buy that. You know, when you buy that big jumbo bag, they deliver this big old bag of dirt, and you have to go and make trips with a wheelbarrow to bring it back to where you want it to. Um, that's what I'm gonna probably have to do because all the stuff needs filling, and bags of soil don't go very far. They're convenient to lift them up the hill. Don't get me wrong, but it's not cost effective. I love those oil pans. Can't buy enough of them. Yeah, I'm telling you, those oil pans are my plant saucers, because the plant saucers from the dollar store are so cheap. I will continue to amend my soil by burying my kitchen scraps. I have no issues with wild animals digging up. Yeah, I don't have issues with in terms well, kitchen scraps like vegetables. I've never put meat bones or anything like that in my garden. I'm not against it, but I already have raccoon and stuff. So if I do use like meat and fish bones and beef bones, I saw a guy on his video. He dries them out. I don't know if he bakes them or he just dries them out heavily, and then I think he grinds them up and then puts makes his own bone meal basically. I would probably do that because I have dug up bones in the garden before. I guess the previous person may have had some bones in different spots. And at my parents' house, I've seen some bones maybe that got in somewhere. And the bones take a long time to break down. There's nothing wrong with that. But 5, 10 years later, you'll still see a whole chicken leg bone out there. It doesn't break down very fast. So if you want, that's why I guess people use blood meal and bone meal. If you want them to be available to the plants to intake, you're gonna have to grind them up. I definitely use eggshells, and because I have the girls, I'm gonna be using a lot of eggshells. I'll be giving them back to them to eat their own eggshells. I boiled some egg. I boiled one egg last week because one of their eggs cracked. I guess they stepped on it, or I don't know what happened. It was a hairline crack. So I boiled that one and scrambled it back to them with some herbs in it, and I mashed the shell down and minced it up and gave it back to them because that's good calcium. But I'll be putting a lot more eggshells in my garden than before, for sure. And next year will be chicken manure. I can't use it this year. As you know, chicken manure is hot. It needs time to break down. No problem. My friend who's on vacation assured me I can have her rabbit droppings. So I will be getting her rabbit droppings with the hemp bedding, and hemp is also okay. So that will be going directly in the beds and pots and so forth. Yeah, bag soil is convenient, but it's expensive. So that's why I spent the money on bags in the previous years, because if I fill my trunk with bags, I can take my time and take like 2 up a day up to the top of the hill. If I'm tired, the next day I'll do 2 more. It's very labor intensive when you don't have a flat backyard. Very labor intensive. So that's why I want the beds filled to the brim so that hopefully it stays fairly full, and I don't have to keep, this is like the third year, mind you, I'm keep adding more beds. So if I add more beds, I'm gonna have to probably order the big bag of dirt and call a couple of friends over and get the wheelbarrow, because I can't wheelbarrow up those stairs more than maybe 2 times. I'm gonna get exhausted. So I'm gonna have to call some people and even just get some potato sacks, or those heavy duty bags, and just fill the bags with dirt and then just make some trips and stuff. I don't think anybody has a wheelbarrows are hard to steer when they're full of dirt, mind you. Like I've toppled over one time with it, so it's not something I'm really wanting to do. Let me see here. I have buried small bones. Larger bones go as, yeah, yeah, because you got their 2 dogs. Small bones will probably break down, but a big old chicken leg is that you'll see that next year in the bottom of the pot. Same way. I put eggshells in everything and got some rabbit. Yeah, my first time. Well, not my first time. We used to have rabbits back in the day. We haven't had rabbits in years, but we used to have rabbits back in the day. So that's not new, but it's new to this property for me. Yeah, I've not put anything but the cow manure and sheep manure that I bought out of a bag. So I'm gonna give that a try. And besides, she's putting it in the garbage. She's not even using it. I keep adding more beds, and so this is the problem. So I'm gonna add more beds, even though I'm not growing as much as I did in previous years. I want the infrastructure there. And as you guys can see, I hope you guys saw all the plants that survived the winter that look pretty good, that they're green and lush and looking good. So, I can grow food or in the fall, and if I cover it properly and overwinter it, I could have been harvesting that in the winter, to be honest. But I didn't want. I'm like, we'll see what happens in the spring. They survived. And there's a tiny cauliflower head on that cauliflower. Cauliflower has been my arch nemesis when I think about it. It takes me a long time to germinate them. I didn't even plant any, but I think I might plant two today just to see in the peat pellets. They take long to germinate and they just don't do anything for me. The ones that I grew last year, the purple ones, I bought the starts from the nursery. I didn't grow them myself. So I'm gonna have to figure something out with that. Um, the large saucers from the Dollar Tree aren't big enough to fit the new $3 containers that they just got. No, they're not big enough. I use them for the nursery pots and the other pots that I have. I have some jumbo saucers. They're not cheap. They're made fairly well. And somebody actually stepped on one last week. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm like, you know how much those cost? To buy those big ones, they're not cheap. And that's why I try to keep myself to last. But I haven't seen them on sale in a long time. The big saucers, the size of like, it's about a diameter of maybe 17 inches, give or take, maybe even more, maybe 24 inches. Those ones are coming very handy. Whew. Let me see here. But yeah, but the Dollar Tree ones are pretty good. They're bigger than a standard saucer. And to be honest, if you drill holes in them, you could use them to plant like some herbs or some small, even lettuce, because lettuce doesn't have deep roots. So you can, mind you, I don't know if it's BPA free, but whatever. Do your own homework. Uh, do it what makes you feel comfortable. But that's pretty much what's going on over here. But yeah, and I'm gonna be using um more water soluble fertilizer. I'm gonna find. I have some organic sticks, the fertilizing sticks to put in the trees, jobs or jobies, however you pronounce it. Those will be going in my trees with the sea marine fertilizer. I haven't found anything else that says organic. It seems to be okay. I don't have a problem with the ingredients. I will be doing more compost tea, but I haven't set up my rain catchment. That will be coming. But the more I go shopping, the more something else catches my eye. So I may not get the catchment fully set up, but we'll see what happens. Let me see what Shirley's saying. I crush my eggshells real fine and sprinkle in the garden beds. Yes. Oh, yeah. Coffee grounds and tea bags. I have 2 tubs in my kitchen with coffee grounds that I've used over the winter. Maybe a tub and a half, not 2 tub, tub and a third. And that will be like, I usually put like a little handful in each pot, or I might just dump the whole thing in a couple of the beds. It depends on what's advantageous. But I am gonna try. I keep mentioning that I haven't gone to Starbucks or any of those stores and see if they give away. Some of them have it set up to give away the grounds. I haven't checked them out. I'm gonna ask and see, and if they do, I'm gonna get the grounds and try more of the coffee grounds. I use tea bags. I rip off the tea bag part and I put the contents in a bucket, and then I just dump it out in the compost, or I put them again directly in the pots. Right now it's planting season, so anything that I have will be put in the pots before I plant the starts. But after that, it's just straight liquid compost tea or liquid fertilizer or water soluble fertilizer. And in some cases, I put, as I said, the fertilizer stick in the trees and let them do their work. So that's why it's important to have those things handy now. Starbucks gives them away. I go once a week. Some people have said that, Miss Shirley, but some people say that when you go there, sometimes they're giving you a hard time. Like they don't do that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't give it away because they're certainly not going to use it. And as I said before, a lot of people are purchasing. There's a company that takes recycled coffee grounds and they're using it for bedding for chicken coops. So the coop part where they roost at nighttime, underneath they're putting coffee grounds there. It's supposed to be better. I don't know. I'm just going by what they're saying. And then the person just basically takes a shovel and a shovel with holes like a mesh thing or a cat, a scooper thingy, and they sift out their dunks or their droppings, and the coffee grinds fall right back down, and it's easier to maintain and keep clean. I saw some of the bags online last night. They're not the cheapest, but maybe if I just take that Starbucks coffee grind and then dry them in the sun, maybe that will do the same thing. I don't know. Because if it's not dried properly, it gets moldy. I know that. So I'll check it out. But right now, I'm going to have to figure out something because I don't want that coop. And the thing about the girls, you can't smell it until you go directly in there. So I don't think my neighbor could smell it, anything, but just in case. Hey, good morning, unicorn lady. Just in case, I don't want to have to, and I don't want to smell it either. It's like, oh my god, it's like, what ammonia smells like. It's just ripe. It just knocks you like bloop, right in the forehead. So that's pretty much it for me. I'm also looking. I know Mike Chaotic mentioned. He mentioned a liquid or a water soluble fertilizer for the hydroponics. I haven't gotten that yet. And I know G Mama mentioned Thrive or Strive. I haven't seen it yet here. I know they have it, but it was out of stock. So I'm going to be trying those with the indoor garden because remember, you have to use fertilizer. It's not like I could use compost tea. I could. And I know some people are experimenting with that. But right now, my hands are a bit full. So I don't want to be just taking on all these projects. So I am going to be finding a suitable liquid fertilizer. Maybe Aero Garden is fine. I don't know. But something organic and has, better reviews and use that for all my units because all of them are different brands. And what comes with it doesn't last very long. It's not much. They don't give you very much to start with. So I'm going to just pick one brand and use it for all of my stuff. And last week I had a salad with my own romaine lettuce. That was a good feeling when you just like, wow, indoor garden. So I'm looking for some dwarf tomatoes, some dwarf cucumbers, morning bud files, dwarf cucumbers, tomatoes, and maybe some dwarf peppers, like sweet peppers, so that when I'm growing my food in the wintertime, I can have a complete salad without having to go and buy nothing else from the store. Maybe the croutons I'll buy from the store, but that's about it. Um, so if there's anything else you guys want to mention, what you're going to use and not going to use, let's talk about that for a bit longer, and then I'm going to go and drop some seeds. I'm going to go drop some seeds, man. Even if I have one more snowstorm, it will not destroy radishes, lettuce, mustard greens. I know from experience, the carrots will be fine. Turnips and rutabagas will be fine. So if you're dropping the seeds and you're thinking, okay, I might get another snowstorm, trust and believe. And if you don't believe me, check out M.I. Gardner. He did a video, if not last year, even maybe 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years now. He does them, sometimes multiple times. There's certain seeds that he drops before his last frost, and the seeds are fine. Spinach should have been dropped already. I didn't drop it. I'm kind of done with spinach right now because it's not. They're making me work too hard. I'm done with spinach, and I will be building also for my infrastructure covers for all of the garden areas. One of the I saw was had but no mesh. I'm not leaving anything open anymore. There's groundhogs with the raccoons, the squirrels. I hate them with a passion. The birds will take your fruit off the trees as well, but they're not as bad as the other ones. Cats and dogs come and dig up your stuff. You don't even know what's happening sometimes. Like literally, I've seen animals I've never seen in my life. I didn't even know they still were in my city. Super juice. Yep. Well, I don't have 511 here. I have a different brand. And what I bought, I thought was a fish one, and it's not. It's actually the seaweed one. But I like the seaweed one. It's done me good. It smells like shrimp cocktail. Shrimp So, but yeah, that works. That works. Whatever which one you want, um, it works. And some people make their own compost tea. As I said, do what you got to do and comfrey. If my comfrey survived, and I hope it did, if not, I'm gonna get some more. Comfrey is a very good component of for your compost tea. Some people just do straight comfrey water and then heavily dilute it, and that's all they need. Comfrey has a lot of nitrogen, I know that for sure, but it has other things as well. People mince it up and chop and drop it all around their garden in the so comfrey is a very good thing to use in your garden. If you don't have it, I'd recommend getting it. People swear by it. They make comfrey salve, they make comfrey powder, all kind of stuff, joint, all kind of stuff they use comfrey for. Mine doesn't look too good right now. I'm gonna go back out later and check it out, but I probably need to put some things in deeper pots. As I learned last year, the pots need to be the right size for the root structure of the plant that you're planting. And that kind of messed me up because I was just oh, it'll be fine. It wasn't fine. It was not fine, and you pay the price because some plants are hard to come by over here. So you need to make sure you put them in the right environment so that it can develop properly. So my hydrangea didn't make it, and hydrangeas are about $30 right now. I will not be buying no hydrangea, so that pot will be cleaned out, and I'll drop some marigolds in there maybe, or I'll drop, I don't know, something. But it was over 5 years of this hydrangea fighting with it. It finally came back to life, and then it did. And I will be planting some more ground cover. And as I said last week or the week before, more flowers for more pollinators. The top of my garden, even behind the fence that's not my property, I will be planting some stuff there to attract the bees and the pollinators, and butterflies can lay their eggs back there. And my herbs that are in the garden, hopefully they won't even bother with them, but I'm going to drop some more dill, some more fennel, definitely oregano, more thyme, because oregano is good for the girls. Thyme is good for the girls. Basil is, all of these herbs are also good for your livestock and will help keep them dewormed and parasite free. And that's better for you because ain't nobody got time to be paying for medical bills when you could have prevented it with some inexpensive herbs. So remember that. Do your own research, check it out first before you go and do something, but that's what I'm going to do. I also want to mention this. I bought these cute little things from Dollar Tree over here. And it's a little box and it has like seeds and it says, like, help for the bees and the pollinators. So it's like a paper cup and it has a peat pellet inside, and you just have to, put some water on it, fluff it up, and then you plant the seeds. But what got me turned off was it says the growing medium is from whatever country, and then the pot was from the red country. Fine, the paper cup is from that country. When I opened one of them, because I got one was a daisy, I have strawberries, and I have a type of sunflower. One of the seed packs, when you opened it, the seed pack said that the seeds were from the red country. It was the strawberries. I remember now. It was the strawberries. The strawberries. Now, I read the packaging before I picked it up, but it did not disclose where the seeds were from until you opened it. So I opened it. Oops, making a mess. Yeah. And then on the actual the seed packet itself, that's where you see where the seeds were sourced from. And it's from the red country. So I was like, I don't know if it matters, but just to let you guys know, some of these kits that you're buying, you think that the seeds are from the other country that's mentioned. Like in this case, it says the Netherlands, but that's not for what they're talking about. They're talking about the pot is made in one country, and then you get like a little, it's a very thick quarter. And then you would wet that, fluff it up, and then you drop the seeds in there. So I'm going to drop some of these. I already bought them, so I'll use it. And maybe that will help with some pollinators. So I'm going to do a lot more flowers. And I think the herbs, if you do a lot more herbs, that will give you the flowers, the pollinators. The bees are already out in my garden. They're already out in full effect, seeing what's going on and seeing what's going to happen because they know that I have a garden. And that's basically it. That's what I'm going to be doing today. I can't really do much more than that. It's too cold to put out like well, I only just planted my tomatoes, but my okra can't go outside yet, and stuff like that. And oh, I don't know if he's here in the bushes, but demood. I got the seeds demood, so I will be doing my squashes and stuff when it's time, which is probably at the end of April. My zucchinis and my squashes will be planted. My watermelons. It's too early to do that now, but that's what I will be doing. And I think I'm gonna actually. My dad was saying yesterday I should plant some stuff behind my fence line, but I was saying to him, should I? Because the animals might just eat it. He goes, well, give it a try. If no one's using that land back there anyways, it's literally a colossal mess. Just clean up the area, clean up the brush, and plant some melons and squashes and running vines back there. So I think I will plant. Okay, take care, Miss Ellen Pankey. We'll see you next week. Or you're listening. You're saying at the best meat market. Okay, you're listening. Okay, but you cannot talk. Um, so I might be doing that this year, and it's part of this whole gangster gardening thing that people talk about. Plant things in spots and incorporate it so people can't tell what it is. You can plant some mustard greens or some lettuce somewhere, and then once it seeds, it'll start spreading itself. And then there'll be places around the area where you know you can get food, weeds, which are herbs, and food. Lettuce can seed itself easily, chives, scallions. You can plant some thymes in some of these spots and see what happens. So that's going to be part of my vision this year is the pollinators, expanding the infrastructure, and some gangster gardening. Just planting some seeds in some weird spots that can incorporate in the landscape, but it's food, and make it a game where you can go around and know, okay, where I have certain food items, where I have maybe even radishes and things that kind of grow under the ground. Beetroots might be maybe surviving. I don't know. You're not going to know until you try. So that's what I'm going to be doing. They said, yeah, like grow behind the fence. Like nothing's behind you, which is kind of why I have the girls because nothing's behind me and I have a bit more privacy. And when I build that outside piece, the part that's facing to my right when I'm walking to the back, there's one person's window that kind of faces my yard. Everybody else faces the back. I'm going to put some tarp on that side so they can't see directly in there. When I brought them home, they were in a cat carrier. I was like to my sister, I'm like, yeah, cover the cat carrier with a blanket. So we just covered it with a blanket. So they saw us carrying stuff to the back, but they don't even know what it was. And if anybody asks, it's quail or rabbit. Because that's not a problem. You're allowed those too, but I'm not telling what it is. Oh, I have rabbits. Oh, why do you have so much wood shavings? My rabbits. Oh, can I see? No. No. What happens? I have a low immune system. I'll lie. Sorry, I can't be around people. Meanwhile, I have 10 people back there, their family and friends. But I had to cover them up because someone was walking the dog and people are very nosy. Let me see what I missed. Guerrilla gardening is fun. Yeah, I'm going to do some guerrilla gardening. It's very important if you want to be prepared for come what may. And not many people forage. Some people do, but not many people do forage. So that will be good that you're already putting food out there that you know where you can get it from. That's exactly what I'm doing in the huge raised bed at church. I'm putting things that not everyone would know that they are edible because it's all pretty things. They can be seen as, yeah, exactly. I think that's what we should be doing anyways, because in this day and age, Like we don't have time. We don't have time for people just doing flowers, flowers, and more flowers. Can you eat the flower? Oh, and that reminds me, I haven't grown nasturtiums before. I've never had a need to, but from what I understand, they're very good for the girls. They can eat them, and they're a good trap crop for aphids. So if there's aphids on it, then the girls can definitely eat them. That's fine with me. So I will be dropping some more nasturtiums. Well, some period. I haven't done it before. And maybe I'll put them back there with the gorilla garden so that they can kind of reseed themselves and see what happens. And then you can just harvest them from the back and give them to the girls to eat, and they'll have a field day with that. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing, some guerrilla gardening and trying to figure out how to incorporate. And I'm trying to see what came back from last year, which is very difficult because I can't really tell. Oh, it's spicy. Okay, is it like arugula? Because I love me some arugula. It's spicy. And I bought some broccoli sprouts. I paid $6 for these little, anyways, these fruit broccoli sprouts, and they were also very spicy. And sprouts are very nutrient dense. And from what I was watching on Yaki, he did what do you call it? I did a show on it, and he was going through the science and the different articles in the papers. Broccoli sprouts are very good at cancer prevention. So broccoli is one thing, but the sprouts are more powerful, and the sprouts of most of your brassicas are more powerful. So as you saw, if you're watching on well, I even showed it on YouTube, but my Instagram, I am sprouting. But let me get the sprouts and show you because I had to actually start to feed it to the girls. But let me show you how big it is, and don't make it thick like mine. It's too thick. One second. Let me get the tray because it's gonna be gone soon. Okay. I had to pour off the water because this thing is just holding water like it's nobody's business. But this is the I'm trying to show you what this camera was about. Okay, so whoops. That is the wheatgrass, and that's I'm trying to show you the height of it, but let me. So that's about more than 2 inches high. I wouldn't say 4, maybe 2.5, so you guys can see like that's literally the wheatgrass. Hold on. Okay. And if you guys don't know how much it costs, go to, your whole paycheck store, whatever store sells them, and see how much it costs. And you don't get very much. So we were talking in a live. I can't remember which live. I think it was the My Fly Family, or it was one of the other lives where we're talking about, like, I think it was, yeah, My Fly Family. Food and like what can you grow quickly. Most crops take you, I think the quickest crop, even lettuce, is like what, 30 days? So you need 30 days, but sprouts, you can get something literally in 14 days. And 14 days might be enough to get a good bunch of trays of different sprouts, broccoli sprouts, wheatgrass, barley sprouts. You can grow mung bean sprouts, all kind of sprouts that you can grow, but you have to have the seeds. That's the thing. When you plant lettuce and you wait 30 days, you don't need that many seeds to get a couple of heads of lettuce. Plus, when they go to seed, they'll give you multiple seeds. Sprouts is not really like that. You have to have a reliable source of seeds. That's the only thing. But the nutrition on those is fantastic. Let me kind of go back to what I missed. Okay, so Miss Shirley. Oh, Ellen Pankey's the Gorilla Gardener. Oh, you use every. Do what you gotta do. Grow in other people's backyard. That's right. If they're not gonna grow it, then I'm gonna grow in it. Okay, so you grew them before, and then you say you grow. Oh, you eat them, Miss Shirley. Okay, I never got into flowers. I did, but not really. And I'm like, I was always apprehensive of doing annuals. It's a lot of work to drop these seeds and then they don't come back every year. I focus on oh, hey, good morning, Mary, Coach Mary Ma. I like to have perennials, but there's something about annuals because the pollinators like them, the herbs. Like you need to get those stuff out there. So yeah, that grass is healthy. I've been literally sitting down just snacking on it like this, like when you eat something and it literally tastes alive. It literally tastes like grass, sweet grass. Yeah, I'm sitting here just chewing on it. So I had to make some wheatgrass juice. Oh, good morning, Mama's Hamper, and I see you there. I may be missing a lot of people. 'Cause I'm just thinking that the ones I already talked to today. But yeah, okay, good to see you. If I missed anybody, sorry, I didn't even see you. But that's what I'm doing. And what I really want, I'm praying to God that I find a place that sells lemongrass seeds. If I can get a couple of packs of lemongrass seeds and we can grow them in each of our homes and the outside, trust me, that's excellent for tea. Excellent for tea. So I'm trying to get that sorted out. But yeah, I'm telling you, it's sweet. And then the actual seed and root ball. Oh, so am I? Thank you, Sam. Didn't know. I'm trying to find them here though, because like the shipping is just ridiculous. But if I can't get nowhere else, I'll go to him to get it. Sorry, guys, this is actually very tasty. It tastes sweet. Like I'm sitting here eating wheatgrass on a lie, but it tastes good, and I'm eating the roots. Tastes good, guys. If I have to eat grass during hard times and get all my nutrition, I have no problem doing that. I don't have a problem doing that. Guys, it tastes good. Add some croutons, you add some dressing. I'm telling you. All right, guys, enough with the graphs. But yeah, for those of you who have never done sprouts before, I would consider doing sprouts, especially if you're one that does. You can put them in your smoothies. You can eat them raw. He has a discount code share10. Okay, hold on. I'd eat grass. Eat the grass. A lot of people don't understand that there's a lot of nutrients, chlorophyll, all the in the skill the internet cut out again or StreamYard. That's a skill you have to already learn. Hold on, I'm gonna write this down. Psalms lemongrass at MI Gardner. And the code is share10. Um okay. I'm going to check that out because as we said, we want more herbs, especially this herb garden challenge. These are a lot of healing benefits and stuff. And there's things that I grew up with from Jamaica. Well, I didn't grow up in Jamaica per se, but the Jamaica culture background, going back home, there's certain teas that we had. So I'm used to that rosemary, lemongrass, the bush tea, the mint tea, um, growing your own ginger. We made ginger tea. We had all kind of different bush, Sarah C. All the different bush that they have. I don't even know all the bush names. I just know they put them in the bush, and they're very good for you. Prevent you from having to go to the hospital. Um, yeah, I'd eat grass during hard times. So I'm looking for a source to get these seeds in more bulk so that I can sprout them, because that's the one downturn. You have to have a good supply of seeds and have them stored properly. So as long as you're willing to learn that, that would help you. I am still waiting for my lemongrass to germinate. Do you have a heating mat, Nikki? I don't know. I've been putting a lot of myself on the heating mat, even if it doesn't need it, because it's already set up. So all my hot peppers, almost all of them, the cayenne did not sprout yet, but I'm hoping it will. Um, a lot of the other hot peppers did. The one that I'm trying for the first time, the lemon or yellow Peru pepper, nothing happened yet. But that pepper takes 100. It's a slow growing pepper, so that's probably why. Lemongrass makes a delicious hot or cold. Yep, I love it. Um, Lemongrass essential oil, and I think there's something good about the lemongrass essential oil. I can't remember what it was. It helps with something. I can't remember. It came up. Oh, it's outdoors. Yours comes. Oh, you didn't. You're doing the milk jugs, right? The milk thingamabobbers. Okay. I didn't do that, and I probably should do a few of them for next year to see if that helps, because it's less babysitting than having them indoors. Because trust me, indoors they dry out very quickly. Once I get the pot going, hopefully I can overwinter those things when I get the grow tent. Burdock, I think I have burdock growing wild in my backyard. Vervain is hyssop, right? That, yes, hyssop is very powerful respiratory issues. Valerian, never tried it. I don't think I have. Skullcap teas are acquired taste. Also chamomile. I love me some chamomile tea. Um oh, and grow bags. Okay, okay, that's probably why. It needs a little bit more heat. Yours will take a bit more time then. So I'm gonna, yeah, hyssop is very good, and all of these things. Do your research. Don't wait for another medical emergency or pandemic or whatever you want to, shut down. A lot of the stuff, you can clear your congestion naturally. This is again not medical advice. This is, you look, do your own research to find out what's going to work for you. But I've been going heavily with oregano oil, and that has, I haven't had any issues. I always have sinus issues or certain, congestion issues. I still have a bit of it, especially in the mornings, but it drains out. The oregano oil, I haven't had a sinus infection in a year straight. Last year I had a mild one. Was it last year? Yeah, I had a mild one, but and I was taking oregano, so that cleared it up. But I haven't gotten a cold or sinus infection or a head cold, anything in 12 months for sure. And it's the oregano oil. I almost got one. It was getting stuffy, but then I had to vacuum everything and dust everything, because I think it's a dust and, like, the carpet and stuff. But once I cleaned and, mopped everything and wiped everything down and kept taking the oregano oil, I haven't had an issue. So a lot of the stuff is good, especially in an oil form or a tincture. Stock up on your stuff, do your research, get your doctor to discuss with you any potential side effects with your, maybe your medication or your existing health conditions. Get the proper advice and then take it from there, because not every herb is for everybody. There are some herbs that some people cannot take, but most of them are, what do you call that word, adaptogens, where it doesn't have, it's not any extreme to the left or to the right. It's very in the middle. um Nikki's saying, per this, hold on. Lemongrass essential oil benefits your health in several ways, primarily due to the antifungal, antiseptic, and anti-inflammatory and insecticide. Yeah, I think it was good for the mosquitoes. Insecticide properties. That's good. Antifungal, antiseptic, anti-inflammatory. And I know I had inflammation heavily in my body, which is why when I had the when I caught the plague, I had a lot of joint and other issues. I didn't have any breathing issues. It was joint and, like, inflammation of the joints, muscles, all that kind of stuff. Extreme fatigue, it's inflammation. Do your research and start growing now. Yep, you got it right, Miss TLC. I think it's H3 something or other. H3 dot dot dot. Look it up. It's coming from the same red country. One person, you know, things are jumping from beast to man, and there's a reason for that. Also, if you're dibble dabbling in things you shouldn't be dibble dabbling in, this is what happens. But what TLC is saying is the truth. Okay, so use your own discernment and read between the lines and go get what you need to get and have them in full effect now. While it helps boost your cardiovascular, nervous, and digestive health, it helps relax your muscles, knots, pains, and headaches as well. Okay, I'm not gonna read it, but you guys saw it there. There's another one. Let me see what that one's called. Give me a second here. I didn't hear that. I've never heard that name TLC. I heard another name. If it was eight, if it's, I heard the number. Give me a second. Let me look it up. But I knew from before. Before anything came out in the news or anything that you're telling me, I already knew. When you stay close to the Most High, He will download stuff to you. Trust and believe. I don't care what anybody wants to say, and those who don't want to believe, and that's you between you and Him, not me and Him. I know where I stand when it comes to God. Um, Hemorrhagic fever affects both people and non-human. Do. I will say this: you have to. Okay, give me. Sorry, I'm reading what it is and how. So it's contaminated with body fluids from one. Da 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 da. Okay, it sounds kind of like all the other ones and the high rate of trans. Da, 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 da. Okay, well, get your stuff, guys. Get your herbs. And I've been saying this from last year. Try your best to get in better shape and healthier because even with the one that we had gone through, pre-existing conditions, obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, those things made it more difficult for people. So research your herbs. These are things that you have to have in your diet and in your system and it's part of your daily lifestyle. You get up, you have tea, you have your herbs, you have your stuff. It's not something that's going to give you a quick and instant fix. So let's be on the same page when it comes to that. It's not always going to give you a quick fix. Certain herbs don't, most herbs don't work that way. They have to be in your system so that it's in there already available to do the work that it needs to be doing to prevent and to keep your immune system working well. Um yeah, I'm reading it now too, and it also says basically, you know, they didn't say it, but I'll say like sexual contact and that kind of stuff. The different options of sexual contact. It's not just the standard one, it's other ones will yeah. So a lot of people are back at status quo. I shake some people's hand, but most times I don't really shake hands anymore. I may give a fist pump, and even then I'm spraying my hand with Dettol as soon as I'm because I don't want to touch my face. But be mindful of what you're doing and what you're touching. Um, Even if you're washing your hands and you're spraying your hands, your skin is your biggest organ, and some of these things are being absorbed into your system through your skin. And we need to remember that. So if some people are out and about doing like I'm out doing the shopping, the main shopping for like the elders and so forth, then maybe it's best for me to wear gloves while I'm like people wear gloves while you're doing certain things. And when you're finished, then you take off the gloves. Whatever's going to work for you, because these high contact touch points, it doesn't matter how much you wash your hands, your skin will already absorb. That's why even when people are trying to put things on women's car and you touch the door handle and all of a sudden you're passed out in 30 minutes, it's gone through your skin. Same principle. principle with some of these other things coming up. Don't let anybody make you feel uncomfortable. I went to my friend's father did pass away. The funeral was yesterday, and a nice, quiet, small ceremony. But most people didn't have on a mask, which was fine. I didn't have one on either because I'm like, you know, but there wasn't much airflow, and I probably couldn't wear a mask anyways because there's no airflow and a mask. That would have been too much. But and even the spacing, like I was signing the book before I went in, and these two older ladies were like hovering behind me, and I'm like, "Can I move, please?" And she's like, "Oh, good morning, Jason." And did I miss somebody else? I don't know if I missed somebody else, but and I'm like, "Can I move?" And she's like, "Well, yeah." I go, "How can I move? You're pitting me in." She's blocking me here with her cane, and then somebody behind me, and then as a woman, you have a big purse. You can't just make a turn because you might bounce somebody or something. And I'm not a small frame person. I'm like, "Yo, like, give me some room." Right up in your crease is right behind you. I'm like, "Can I get some space, please?" Like, I don't want to knock somebody over accidentally because that happens to me a lot. Like, I don't bounce. The person that I'm bouncing is going to end up falling down. That's happened many times, and they think I didn't push them. I'm just more sturdy. That when we bounce, you're going to fall over, and I'm going to just be keeping walking. But anyways, back to the conversation at hand. Still be very careful when you're going out. I'm not saying be fearful. I'm not saying that stuff. No. But if you're touching a lot of stuff, if you're the person in charge of doing all the shopping and your elders are kind of like still hanging back, like mine are, they're hanging back, and you go to do the shopping and they go occasionally, you have to be careful what you're touching. Point blank, period. Even with the girls at the back, I'm cleaning up their coop. I'm gonna start wearing gloves, not because I'm afraid, but just to be more mindful. And then you know, you don't touch your face by accident, or sometimes I rub my, I don't need to know none of those things happening, especially with everyone in fear of bird flu. Let me just be above board and do extra precaution. My grandmother died at 100 years. All she used was traditional medicine. Please do your research. Exactly. Do your own research and find out. A lot of what we have been doing and what we are used to is heavily, I'll speak for myself. I'm not going to say it's you guys, but it's heavily based on fear. Even people are afraid to use certain things because when you even see the herbs, don't take if this, don't take if that. Most of them is if you're pregnant or nursing, don't take certain ones. That's standard. But we're so afraid because we have been trained to trust the stuff in the packages in the pharmaceutical department or the pharmacy, but we're not trusting the stuff that just grows out the ground. We're more afraid of this. I can't even get it in the camera. We're more afraid of this and natural stuff and the side effects of this than we are of white pills and powders. So you're going to have to retrain your mind and let go of the fear, because that's how they're holding us in bondage. All the stuff that have a package on it and a DIN number, most of them are derived from natural plant-based stuff, but they've isolated one particular component of it to make it more potent. But if we would have the natural remedy more regularly, that would already be in our system. This is actually very damp. You have to make sure that your grass airs out because that's how it's getting moldy. And I put 1 cup plus 1/3 of a cup of seeds in here, just sidebarring. Don't do that. That person that I watched the video, that was too many seeds. Do like, a 3/4 cup of seeds in these particular Amazon trays. If you can, yeah, in these Amazon trays. I'm trying to, anyways, these white trays with the green bottoms, because it's just too dense. You need to get airflow in there, and you're rinsing it every day, but it's just too much. Note to self. So if you guys are going to do sprouts, just make sure less seeds is better. You need to get the airflow. So I have to kind of get a fan on it. It's too much moisture. Anyways, again, don't get stuck in fear. Somebody mentioned vervain, which is hyssop. That's mentioned in the Bible. And if you look up hyssop, it's very good for respiratory problems. A lot of people, even though you're not sick right now, what you don't realize is that you have a lot of mucus in your body overall. And that, when it becomes solidified and excessive, um, can cause sickness, especially when it's in your lungs. So don't wait for another issue. Please do what you have to do to learn this information now and keep your body functioning properly, and know what works for you, know about any personal allergies that you have before you need to use these products. Don't wait for another friend when people are in a frenzy and all stressed out. Do it now when things are kind of calm, and that will help you. I wear gloves, masks in public, keep some in the car after cleansing with herb teas and cod liver oil. I take Panax Regency extract. Yeah, if it works for you, it works for you. Some people, I'm doing black seed oil, oregano oil. I'm doing garlic. I'm doing like all kind of stuff. Again, not medical advice, but do what works for you. For me, green juices like chlorophyll, that gives me a boost of energy. That's why I'm doing a lot more greens and raw stuff. And and I juice my greens. If you watch Yaki Awakened, he mentioned that he recommends, you eat your fruits, yes, but you can juice your greens and you'll get a lot more benefit because the nutrition is more digestible. He's highly science based as well. So it's not just, coming from the sky. He's very science based. So check him out and see. Good morning, Miss Name of Cherokee. You're in the bushes listening and occasionally reading chat. Hey, yeah. Okay, no problem. So, and some people have a problem with people wearing masks, and some people say they don't work. That may be true. That may not be true. All I know is that there's certain individuals that I know personally, and I did read one study way back, maybe in 2021 by now, and it was in Bangladesh. I remember that much, Bangladesh, and it was a very impoverished neighborhood. And very simple. They didn't have a doctor in town. It was a village, and they wore masks, and it worked for them. It limited the transmission and it helped prevent the spread, because when people were in shopping centers or whatever, you're not spitting on people or anything like that and cross contaminating, and it did help. I'm not saying that it's 100%, but what I do notice is that there are two elders that I know personally and one adult. They're not an elder. And they always were in the hospital every year for some kind of respiratory or health issue, especially asthma. They already have asthma and already have certain issues. And they are always having to be hospitalized even before 2020. And since 2020 to now, none of them have been hospitalized because they're wearing a mask around large groups of people. They have less exposure and they haven't gotten a cold, a regular cold, or a flu. Now, I do believe in the immune system, don't get me wrong, but if you are of a certain age and you are immunocompromised, or you were prone to catch colds easily, maybe it would help you, because it's helped the people that I three people that I noticed. And I said to them, you guys have, separately, not together, you haven't been hospitalized. And they said no. The only one that was hospitalized was because she fell on some ice or snow, and she fell and she hurt herself. So, you know, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Some people don't wear them. They don't get sick easily. They have a strong immune system. They don't really need it. That's fine. But don't knock somebody who may have to use it. That's all I'm saying. Don't knock them, because who feels it knows it. Let me see here what Jason's saying. Hold on, I'm gonna scroll back up, make sure I didn't miss nobody. And I know people who can't wear them because literally when they have it on, it's like they can't catch their breath. I think my internet cut out again because I saw it spooling. Honestly, I have a different perspective. I don't want to wear a mask or gloves because I am trying to build my system stronger. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's truth in both statements, because it depends. It's like I'm not an expert, but I'm just watching what I notice. When they had the lockdowns here, everybody was sent home. That didn't help because now everyone's working at home on their own, isolated. Good morning, Rashonda. And no one's around each other. So when I did go back to the office, that's when I caught the plague. And I was taking every vitamin supplement, everything, But when you're not around people and your immune system doesn't have to work, which I think is what you're saying, is it doesn't have to be engaged. It's pointless in a way. You have to still live a fairly normal life and be exposed to things to keep your system working. I guess it's almost like when you don't use your car and then you try to start it and then it starts to smoke and like the gears need oil and it's just the car is just stiff, like the components, similar to that. So yeah, I'm but what we're talking about, Jason, I think you missed the beginning, was somebody mentioned there's a new something coming, allegedly. And the name was mentioned, and I heard another name of another one. So there might be more than one on the horizon. And the what's the word? The contracting it is very easy. Just touching something, it's highly contagious. So that I don't know if that would be safe if you're touching something and it touches your skin and it enters your body through your skin. That's where we were kind of not sure. I was not sure because I haven't been wearing a mask. I wear one if I'm around a lot of people, not because I'm afraid, but some people just don't live right. They cough and they sneeze and they don't cover their mouth. And then I don't know, like it just grosses me out. But anyways, but I don't really wear one. I do take a lot of herbs heavily, have my tea and stuff like that. But yeah, everyone has got to do what works for you. But just, you know, I wear gloves sometimes. I haven't really been wearing gloves, but it depends where I am. And it depends how many things I have to touch. But I haven't been shaking hands. I think I haven't been shaking hands really. I'll do a fist pump and I'll do a head nod, but I haven't really been shaking hands. I'm kind of done with shaking hands. I don't think I'm going back. I shook a hand yesterday, I did, but then I sanitized like 5 minutes later. Um, you just don't know. But some people have been wearing it and they haven't gotten sick. But these are people who are highly sick. They were sickly to begin with. They always were in the hospital every 12 months for some respiratory or some problem. And for them, wearing this has helped. Now, those individuals, I have said to them, make sure you're still building your system and taking the right products and stuff. Don't just be wearing that, but test it out and see, depending on who you are. I'm out here being exposed. I think it's better for me to be exposed to other people and to build my immune system. That's for sure. That's for sure. And isolating yourself like we did for the last 3 years and children didn't work because a lot of the problems we're having here, and I don't want to talk too much because again, you monetize a video, you get in trouble. Your immune system has to be worked. You has to you can't be in an island or in a bubble and then wonder why people are getting sick with the regular cold and regular stuff that never was a problem before, but now it's a problem because they were all isolated. That's, people like to send their kids to school to get exposed, to get stuff. People like when their kids, some people get the chicken pox and get because they want them to get and build their immune system. That's what they want because they understand that never being sick is not a good thing either. It doesn't help you. Let me see what I missed. 100% real and it's new, not the same thing as before. Yeah, something is coming, guys. I'm not a fear monger. Trust and believe I'm not. But I said this to you guys over a year ago, I believe. And I said to you all, you have about 2 or 3 good years left in terms of getting yourself in better health, better shape, losing weight, whatever you got to do. because what's coming, it's coming. And I said to you, I don't have any proof. I don't have anything. I just know I can feel it in my spirit, and the Lord doesn't lead me wrong. He speaks in a still small voice, or sometimes it's just something. That's just the way it is. Some people don't believe in God. As I said, that's between you and Him. You'll find out for yourself whether He's real or fake. I already know, and I'm not compromising what I believe for anybody. But get yourself prepared. Yep, may God have mercy on us all. But we should not fear no evil. We do not have to fear no evil. Good morning, Martika. He's already told us what is not exactly what's coming, but he told us what the end is, and we have to just be ready and be ready to pivot on a dime. That's all you got to do. Do your best. But we have time now to get some things in order, to get your house in order. And please take heed. I'm not one of the persons that's like yelling and screaming and oh my God. No. You got time to get ready. The last 3 years was very difficult for many people. We already know what went down. Supply chain issues, this, that, and the third. Get what you need now. Get the seeds that you need to get now. Grow. Don't just get the stuff and hold it. Grow the plants and figure out how it adapts to your environment. Figure out how to grow them indoors, and those of us in a cold climate, how to dry it, preserve it, how to propagate it, how to all the different things. Now is your time to do your homework, to do your gangster gardening and plant them in all these places and let them seed themselves. Don't just have them sitting down for when things go left. Start to practice the skills now. Buying new and maybe making some so stylish ones again. The grow. Let me see what Rashonda's saying here. My doctor said the same thing. It's good to get exposure to certain things because that's how your body builds. Yeah, you do. And I'm telling you, I was one of the ones that was like, "Oh my God, stay away from me, stay away, stay away, stay away," because I was being driven by the fear of it, and I had to deal with the fear because it wasn't healthy. We can't live like that. We can't live like that. And then when you start to get more knowledge and see the science coming out after the fact, and a lot of us were made to feel stupid, and then now the science is totally backing up some of the comments that people were making. Yep, grow your knowledge. As I said in January, I talked about setting goals for the year, for the 3-month goal, 6 months, 12 months, and even a 2-year goal. And for a lot of people that may be buying land or getting out of the city or whatever that bigger goal is, but start to chip away at your list. This year, I said I may not be growing as much food as I usually do, but I'm getting my infrastructure built. That means trees, livestock, water irrigation system, water catchment, herb garden, hydroponics, and I've been doing all of that. I'm not even lying. I'm showing you guys when I can in my lives, in my videos, what I'm doing. I'm not making it up. I'm here doing it. So if you don't see me with, all these tomatoes and all these other food and I'm not canning, I learned how to can water bath. I'm going to learn how to do the pressure canning, but that will most likely will be meat. I'll do ground beefs and stuff like that. So I have other options to eat. But if you don't see me canning my squashes and like, don't worry about that. I'm over here doing it. That's all you need to worry about. And you need to do the same. Sometimes you can't do it all. And I've made a decision that maybe growing food this year may not be my top priority. I know how to grow food. I'm going to be growing things that are unique and expanding my orchard because that food is more important because the trees can do the work for themselves. All I got to do is feed it. So I'm just encouraging you guys, go back to your January list and what goals you want to accomplish to become, whether it's financially independent, self-sufficient, improve your skills. Get some books. I'm going to be getting a lot more books because the internet is going to let us down. Let me see what Jason is saying here. I'll be honest, I don't trust the science because it is typically controlled by pharmaceutical companies and they are designed to make profits, not so much to help. Yep, you are true. The thing that I've noticed is, I'm sorry, my nose is itchy. I'm not picking my nose, it's just itchy right there. Thing I've noticed is that there are a lot of studies that are part of the whatchamacallit, the official agency that has studies, medical journals, and whatever you call them, whatever that department is. But you will never hear about those studies. They're there, they've been printed, but they don't really make them public. And some of the things that you're saying, yes, the ones that are funded by the machine are being made public. And exactly what you're saying, that is definitely true. But what I've learned is that two things or more than two things can be true at the exact same time. Anything that's contradicting the machine is put in the back burner. And unless you go and seek out those documents yourself and read them, you won't even know about them. And the smaller doctors, channels, and people are exposing these things, but they're small. They don't have the influence of the machine. And as you all know, a lot of things can be suppressed and or shadow banned. And unless you already know who to look for, you're not going to find this information because a lot of contradictions have already come out, but they were suppressed because it did not fit into the narrative of the bigger machine. The bigger machine. And I've seen it. And then when I started to see the documents and stuff, I'm like, And when I reference these documents, nobody knows what I'm talking about. When I reference certain things, nobody knows what I'm talking about. So I'm going to have to literally have the name of the document and the reference number and the paragraph and have a notebook with these things written down. And some of the stuff I have to actually email to myself and keep a copy because when you go back to find some of this stuff, it won't be there. It hasn't happened yet, but trust and believe it's happening. So, you know, I've seen it firsthand. Seen it. And there's a lot more information even coming out since 2023 started about the last 3 years. And you have not seen any of it on any mainstream platform, and you never will. So you need to start digging and going into the underground because that's the only way you're going to find out some information. Even, and I'm not talking about even the last 3 years, even in regards to food. Just even if you just talk about the food and the nutritional value of food and the interference with food and if you even just look at those categories, there's a lot of information that's available that you will never hear. And if you're relying on the mainstream media to tell you, you are delusional. They're not going to tell you what they're not pre-programmed or paid to discuss with you. Look at all the sponsors of all these platforms. Come on, guys. They know that certain herbs and certain plants can reverse certain things. Some of these big things that people are afraid of having or people are dropping like flies from and going through invasive measures to extend their life. And there's more than one thing I'm talking about, but there's a couple that are top of the list. And there are many plants and many things that can reverse a lot of things. And a lot of people have mentioned, even in some of the chats I've been in, and I haven't seen this person in a while, Love Notes. I think it was Love Notes that mentioned it, and somebody else, and I haven't seen them in a long while. Sour sap leaf is very powerful. Start looking up sour sap leaf, sour sap extract, even the sour sap fruit. Some of the plants that you get if you dry the seeds. There's certain components. They have known this for more than 10, 20 years. They know the power. Oh, because you're in the bushes of these plants. I'm telling you. And they're having us all, even myself, operating in fear. You're afraid to do this and afraid to do that because we've been programmed to trust what comes in the packages. They've been lying to us and we've been lying to our next generation. There's some there are some things that they've researched, and they are more powerful than the medical interventions that they've been doing. And they know it. And you will never hear them admit it. Never in this life, because they don't get paid for that. That's not where they make their money. They don't make their money through those channels. Have you seen the montage of the media all saying that? Yes, yes. Scripted. It's scripted. And then that's why I had to stop watching the news, because even before this, it's like when you watch the montage and you're sitting there watching the news on a day-to-day basis. Do you remember back in the day somebody was saying, showing their age? I think it was African Dreaming. That news used to come on once a day, 6 p.m. and maybe 11 p.m. Now it's around the clock. And all they're doing is regurgitating the same information. But if you're going to sit there and listen to it, it's going to affect your brain. They're slowly putting you to sleep. That's what they're doing. I can watch the news once a week and quickly in 5 minutes find out what I missed. And I missed a few things. I did miss a few things this week and last week, but it's not hard to catch up. I don't need to watch it 24 hours around the clock. And then they have all these commercials for certain products that they want to sell you. And then you wonder why you're so nervous to try natural herbs, because all you watch all day is this company and J&J and this company and that company, and this can fix this and this can fix that. And then garbage in, garbage out. Let me I'm going to wrap it up because 11 o'clock I want to drop some seeds. I know the docs Urban, and they have disappeared from the internet. Print what you can while you can. Also gas masks. Earl, that's another thing, guys. I was starting to look into gas masks. I think I'm going to get one, and my family, because some of the fumes that are coming out and going around that are going to be coming around, we need to have a backup plan. And then Rashonda's saying some of the medicines actually make you more sick. I know this from personal experience. I'm not telling anybody what to do, because we all got to walk our own path. And sometimes, stuff happens in life and some people are going through some serious health issues, but the system, the machine is faulty. It's filled with lies. Very few people can give you proper explanations. All they're doing is what they've been trained to do, and that's all they know. And until you unplug from them and start to research for yourself and to let God lead you into all truth, you're not going to know what you don't know. They are just playing over people's emotions. Yep. They are. They're playing over our emotions and our fear. There are some things that you can explain. There are some things that we cannot fix. But we need to stop operating in fear, because when you operate in fear, you make poor decisions. And when you make poor decisions, you make the situation worse in many situations. We watch all these movies and all these like Hollywood movies and cowboys and whatever different, movies. And some of the movies that I like the most are when somebody's asking a character to beg for their life, and and they don't beg for their life. They understand the game. You're going to do what you're going to do regardless, or you're not going to do what you're going to do. I'm not going to be sitting here begging and pleading and all this kind of stuff. They're not doing that. Do what you're going to do, and stop talking about it. And then you have to understand that we have to take ourselves out of the situation and look at the bigger picture. And getting frantic and getting fearful didn't help. Fighting people for toilet paper didn't help. Fighting, like all the things that were happening, it didn't help the situation. It didn't help. Some people from the beginning said they're going to do what they want to do and nothing's going to stop them. And they're still here to tell the tale. Some people aren't here to tell the tale. Some people were scared and they're still here. Some people didn't make it. It's all dependent on other factors. And we were so caught up in the fear that we weren't learning about the other factors. And the narrative that we were painted was not always accurate. The food industry is very corrupt. Jason's right. I get my news from BBC when the National Enquirer stopped. The media. Remember, I mentioned this. I'll mention it again. There's one of the James Bond movies. I'm gonna look it up, and it was when it was James Bond was being played by Pierce Brosnan, and Terry Hatcher was the woman. Give me a second. Terry Hatcher was the leading lady. With that's all I remember. Let me see if that will pop up. The one Tomorrow Never Dies. That's what it says. I think that's the one. And then the guy in the main character was manipulating the news. So if he wanted something to happen, let's say he wants there to be a conflict between A and B, and he would do something behind the scenes to make sure that there would ensue a conflict between A and B. He already had the news articles already written, prepped, and the media coverage already ready and prepped, and it was all fake and all manipulating people. That's what it was. If you haven't seen that movie or you saw it already, just watch it again just to catch what was happening. It was, yeah, the media mogul wants his empire to reach every country on the globe. But the government, a particular government, I don't want to say the word, the red country, will not allow him to broadcast there. The character, doesn't take no for an answer and plans to use his media empire to fuel flames of war between the Western world and the red country. This movie is from 1997, but it looks very familiar to what's happening nowadays, don't you think? And it's happening nowadays. The media is influencing the people and creating a very mob like mentality. But that's enough for today. I'm pretty much done. I'm going to go figure out what I'm going to do with my soil, get those raised beds, and get some stuff going. But keep growing, guys. Keep doing what you got to do. Let's not walk and operate in fear. Let's just try to be as prepared as possible. Do the best that you can, and don't let it consume you every day, all day. We also need to have some balance. You need to enjoy your family, your friends, enjoy the outdoors, enjoy your hobbies, and let's not let it consume you every moment of every day. That's not healthy either. Spend this time, 2023 at least, if not 2024, getting yourself healthier. I had to realize I like to walk, and I had no problem walking, but I haven't walked in a while. I'm like, oh, I can still do it. When I went to go walk, I was huffing and puffing. And I'm like, and then you realize if you don't use it, you lose it. I remember my prof used to always tell me that when you get to my age, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Your joints will, you got to keep walking. So, what I thought, good morning, Shanna, what I thought I could do is no longer the case. So, so I started walking in the morning. I take care of the girls, I get the food and stuff, and I go for a walk and I come back. Don't think that you can do what you used to do 5 years ago because you were in good shape. If you haven't been maintaining it, let me tell you, girl, bye. Because it left me. I have to go and rebuild my endurance and then rebuild my strength. Because the last thing you need is to be huffing and puffing on a walk, a leisurely walk. You're huffing and puffing. That's not good, guys. So I'm walking back every day. I'm getting back my fitness and just work on it little by little and do what you can. But don't sit down and do nothing, because trust and believe. You don't need to be a burden on yourself, your family, or your circle. So God bless you all. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you in these streets, as you know. Um, where am I gonna be? Today is Miss V, Make This Go Viral, and Big Rooster. Tonight at 7 p.m. on the Everyday Life of an OCD's Chick is the chat. I'm not sure if Hands in the Dirt is back, but she will still be doing it probably with Bouger. So check that out tonight at 7 o'clock. Um, Sunday I'm kind of really offline most times. I may pop in sometimes, but Sunday's my kind of like off of social media. Monday you'll see me. Monday night is Tori's Brain Neck Bone News. You will also see me in My Fly Family on Mondays. Wednesday, I pop in with Erica, My Fly Family. I think Tuesday is Trill Tuesday with African Dream. streaming. And Thursdays, Miss Shirley OG. We got Miss Ellen Pankey on Thursdays, 4 o'clock. 7 p.m. is Miss Shirley. I think 8 o'clock is Thursdays with Planter Garden TV. Friday is Friday Fire with Tori's Brain. And also 6 p.m. on Friday is Frugal Fridays with Gina versus Gina. And that's pretty much, and other people I watch, but those are the main ones that we're rolling over to. There's other people, but just check them out. Again, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, those in the bushes. Like the video when you're finished. Check out the videos that I'll be uploading this week and stuff. And just be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Before I actually end the live, you can type #urban in the chat to drop your links if you want to get people to see where you're at. And so drop your links, and I'll let the live run for a few more minutes before I actually close it out, so that you guys can check each other out. And thanks, Chirogi. I will jot down that movie and check it out. All right. Take care, everybody.